Nothing further, thank you.
Ma'am, I'm going to give Mr. Brooks an opportunity to ask you questions as well. Please answer those for him. Go ahead, you're cross.
During your testimony, you kept referring to he. Who were you referring to when you said he?
I can't understand him.
Can you please state your question a little bit louder? She was not able
Yeah.
to hear.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
You need to be closer to the microphone or project your voice, okay?
I got it.
Thank you.
During your testimony, you kept referring to a he. Like a lot of times you would say he. Who were you referring to by the he? Who did you mean by the he?
He?
Yes.
When it was showing Bill.
No, not
Bill would be the he.
Before today, have you seen any of those videos before today?
No.
You stated that you saw a red vehicle strike the grannies. Do you remember if that was, or let me back up. Do you remember what type of vehicle you saw?
It was like an SUV. It wasn't just a car. It was, the flat back. I'm bad for cars. And all I know is I'd seen the red streak, and then all of a sudden I seen the car in front of me.
So would you describe it as a car?
It was a vehicle.
And how close did it come to you, if you recall?
I would say several feet. I was in front of the music vehicle, and it came around the music vehicle on the right side, and that's where Bill and Tamara were. And I was a little bit this way because I was directly behind the music vehicle.
Were you able to see into the vehicle in any way?
Was I able to what?
To see inside of the vehicle?
No, because it came behind me.
So you didn't get a look at the driver at all?
No, I don't have eyes in the back of my head.
Do you recall what happened when people were shot out of the vehicle?
No, I couldn't see them being shot from where I was. The vehicle was big, and it was after the vehicle went through our group that I seen all the people that were shot.
Earlier you testified to people being thrown to the side of the street. Would it be fair to say that, and I'm going off your last answer to the last question, would it be fair to say that you didn't see that with your own eyes?
No, that's where they were found.
But you didn't see it with your own eyes?
No, I couldn't. Sorry about that.
You also stated that a few of the people that were shot died instantly. Would that be fair to say?
That died instantly, you mean?
Yeah, you stated that a few people that were shot instantly. Would that be fair to say?
Some of them, yeah.
And
2 were injured, and
how would you know for sure that they died instantly if you didn't see them?
Because The police found two of them on the sidewalk, one on the left, one on the right. They were already dead.
So were you told by the police that they were dead?
That what?
Were you told by the police that they had passed away?
I could see they were working on them and weren't getting anywhere. They were trying to get the heart started with the heart machines. Nothing was working.
And you know that for sure?
I seen them working on them, yes. Not all of them, but on some of them.
So was it fair to say at that time that you had no medical diagnosis at that point in time?
Nobody gives nobody diagnosis. They just were working on them and trying to get them revived, but they couldn't do it.
So it would be fair to say at that time you had no knowledge of the injuries sustained?
No.
You stated that I believe it was a Kathy. Did you know a Kathy that was part of your group?
Yes, two Kathys.
You stated, I don't remember which one, but you stated that one of the Kathys had a sister or something.
Yes, on the sidewalk watching the parade.
Do you recall the sister's name?
No.
Are you sure it was a sister or maybe just a relative?
Could have been a sister or a relative. I figured it was a sister.
So it would be fair to say you didn't know for sure who it was.
Asked and answered.
It was someone in the
Over the
family.
rules, you may answer. Go ahead, you may answer.
Okay, it was someone in her family that was trying to console her, but she was just standing there out of control, weeping and...
You stated that there was a music van of some sort?
a music vehicle.
And you also stated that you couldn't hear what was going on behind you because the music van, would that be fair to say?
That's right. I didn't hear anything. I just seen a red streak when it came past me.
So would it be fair to say that if a vehicle was honking a horn, you wouldn't have heard it if it was behind you?
I don't know. No, there was no horns.
But you don't know for sure because you stated that the music was playing pretty loudly. Would that be fair to say?
That's for sure. But whether I would hear a horn or not, I don't know.
Were you able to see a license plate number of the vehicle?
No. I was just shocked that a vehicle would be in the parade route. I didn't have time to read a license plate.
And you stated that there's also a member of your group named Lola?
Named what?
Lola?
Lola. Yes, it was her husband, Bill.
And she, to your knowledge, to your recollection, Lola was not in?
No.
You spoke with knowledge of a lot of the injuries. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Have you yourself ever had any medical training of any kind?
No, my family is all in the medical field.
Have you yourself ever been
No.
in the medical field?
No.
Did you see anyone behind you struck?
No, because I was behind the music vehicle. I mean, in front of the music vehicle.
And you yourself weren't in, right?
No. The car couldn't get at me because they would have to go through the car.
You stated that you went inside of a building at some point, or
Yes.
one of the businesses,
Yes.
and you stated that you couldn't stay in there because you wanted to see how bad everything was outside. Would that be fair to say?
Well, I was outside first, walking and seeing everybody, then watching them work on them, and the tavern was trying to comfort us by inviting us in for coffee or water, something to get us. But I couldn't stay in there. I had to be out there with them people.
Do you recall about how long you stayed in the tavern? I think you said it was before you
Yeah,
went back out.
I would say between 5 minutes and 10.
So when were you informed by, I guess I would say, medical personnel of the injuries to your group?
When I seen them working on them, they had the heart machine on Ginny, and blood was pouring out of her mouth, and I knew she was gone. There was no doubt about it.
At any time during the incident, did medical personnel come to you and
No.
tell you injuries?
No, just the police came to me to know that where Lee was, because I was wondering where she was, and the police showed me her photo and said that she was gone.
At one point in your earlier testimony, you pointed to the defendant table and said, "That's him from the news." Any reason why you would say that?
From the news. I didn't say that.
You testified that you pointed to the defendant's table and said, "That's him from the news," and you were cut off right in mid-sentence.
I wasn't saying that at all.
So have you ever seen any news coverage of the incident?
From Lola, I knew that Bill had died during surgery that evening. And so I knew that from her, because she was at the hospital with him. I knew about...
Ma'am, did you hear that question about seeing news reports? And just be a little more specific on the time,
I don't
okay?
know what you
I'm
mean
trying.
about news reports.
Fair enough.
On the
Rephrase.
regular news, or...
He'll rephrase.
Okay.
At any time, do you recall seeing any news reports related to the incident? At any time?
It was on the news. Yes.
So it would be fair to say that you watched reports of the incident.
When it was on the regular news in the evening,
Was it?
they didn't cover much of it. They just showed that the dancing grannies, that.
Would it be fair to say you learned additional information that you didn't have when you were at the incident from the news?
Not from the news, I didn't know.
Okay.
I knew from the family.
So would it be fair to say that before you received information from the families, you weren't sure of the exact injuries to the grannies in your group?
Some of them I knew right away
And
because of the police.
Did you know just from observation, or were you told?
I was pretty much told.
And from the videos that you saw here today, which you already stated it was your first time seeing any of those videos.
Yes.
Did you see anything in those videos today that you didn't see at the time of the incident?
Yeah, the people being hit and flying. Once the car was in front of me, that's when it left the bodies behind.
But you didn't actually see.
I couldn't. The car was in my way.
And do you recall who else was not injured from your group besides Lola?
The four of us were not injured.
Do you recall the names of who was not injured?
Kathy Z, Sharon Millard, me and Lola and Kathy. The other Kathy. There's two Kathys.
Both Kathys, to your knowledge, were not injured?
No, they weren't. We were all that was left standing.
Do you recall about what time you left the parade after the incident?
What do you mean after the incident?
Do you recall what time you left the parade?
That was when everybody was taken away, and I think then we were in the bar having a cup of coffee, and then I had to find a way home because the music vehicle had to stay there because it was a crime scene. So Kathy Z's family took her home, so they gave me a ride right away too.
And you don't recall about what time that was?
No.
That would be fair with everything else going on. At any time in the days following the incident, did you see any reports of a suspect at any time?
I seen it on the news that a suspect was taken, or found, I should say.
And what are you referencing when you say found?
What was I what? Oh, found. In other words, the police found him. I didn't know who, where, or who he was at the time.
I don't recall if this question was asked, so I'm going to ask it. Were you there with any of your family members, immediate family or anything?
My immediate family members, just my husband. And he was driving the music vehicle.
Was he injured in any way?
No. Outside of being shocked by what he was seeing.
Physically injury. Did he suffer any
because
physical?
he was in the car.
Do you recall giving any police statement, or were you interviewed by any law enforcement after the incident?
Yes.
Do you recall if it was the same night of the incident or in the days following?
Both.
Both?
Right there at the time, and then the next day.
Did you ever file any claims related to the incident?
I believe not of the incident, no, because I was there when they were talking to the gals that weren't hurt. They were like interviewing us.
The four of you, correct? The four that went, the
all
two
of us.
cats.
Yeah, the ones that were left. Yeah.
Do you know if they filed any claims related to the incident?
If what?
Do you know if they filed any claims related to the incident?
Objections?
Grounds?
Cause for speculation?
Grounds?
The way that he asked it is overruled. So you may answer if you know.
Okay. No, because we were all together and came to every interview that they needed from us.
Do you recall seeing or reading any complaints related to the incident?
Objection?
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form of the question. You don't have to answer that.
Okay.
Should I rephrase the question? Or?
It was sustained as to the form of the question.
At any time during any interviews with law enforcement, were you shown a complaint related to the incident?
Objection? Ben?
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Were you informed that it may be a possibility that you might be called to testify in this matter?
A lot later. Not at the time. I had no idea of testimony until.
Would you say much later, as you say, would that refer to weeks, months?
Months. I was in no shape at the time to testify or talk about anything.
Do you recall seeking to testify? Wanting to testify?
No, I didn't ask to. This just happened when we would be in our interviews and then.
So it would be fair to say that you were asked or
Yes.
subpoenaed?
Yes.
Do you recall by whom?
I imagine the DAs or.
When you say the DAs, do you mean the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Did they ever identify to you as being the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Relevance grounds.
Do you recall ever being told that there was a plaintiff in this matter?
No, it's just I was interviewed a few times, the 5 of us, and that was pretty much the end of it until months ago where
I think probably a little explanation is needed. Are you aware what a plaintiff is?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question, Mr. Brooks.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Ask your next question, please.
I am. I just want to know the grounds, just for the record, the grounds for the sustain.
Ask your next question.
Your Honor, the grounds should be put on the record.
Ask your next question. I'll address this all at the next break outside the presence of the jury. Ask your next question.
Your Honor, with all respect, I think the jury
Mr. Brooks, under
deserves.
90611, ask your next question, or I will determine that the cross-examination is now closed.
I'm
Keep
gonna
going.
ask, I'm gonna keep going. I just think the jury deserves to hear.
Mr.
all
Brooks,
the
I'm
testimony.
instructing you to stop making those statements. The jury will disregard. This is the cross-examination. It's not your opportunity to make legal arguments or to testify. You'll have an opportunity if you so choose to do that later.
With all respect,
Next
that is not
question.
question-fine. The jury just deserves to know.
All right, under 90611, the cross-examination
I still
will
have
be
a question,
determined.
Your Honor.
Sir, you didn't follow my very clear instructions. Does the state have any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You may step
Objection
down.
to that, Your Honor.
Your
I was
objection's
not-
noted. Ma'am, you
I
may
was
step
not-
down, and after she steps down, I will be excusing the jury for a few moments. Please rise for the witness and for the jury as they leave the courtroom. Mr. Brooks, please wait. You may have a seat, everyone. To specifically address the repeated request by Mr. Brooks for the court to state the grounds, sir, I am not legally required to do that. Those are legal determinations that if you feel there is an error later on, you can address on appeal if you are convicted. I have been answering many of them at your request, but I may not do that at all times. In fact, you're asking me to provide that explanation and really highlight for the jury the court's opinion on relevance. That's why we don't state that. There's an objection. A party makes it, states the grounds. Sometimes I ask the opposing party for their position. Sometimes I do not. Many times it's very self-evident. Either the objections are baseless. Many of the hearsay objections are baseless. Your objection to hearsay is it's not hearsay. So that's why, to me, they're self-evident. I say sustained, and we go forward. So you need to be aware, sir, that when you ask for the grounds, you're asking me to state a legal conclusion in front of the jury, which I don't feel is necessary for the reasons that I've already stated, that you're asking me to highlight my opinion on relevance and my determination on relevance. So going forward, you need to be aware of that. Again, not a sign of disrespect. It's the record is self-evident many, many times. If I feel that more argument is needed, I'll excuse the jury. But I haven't felt the need to do that up until this point. And I will caution you once again, sir, 906.11 is the statute, mode and order of interrogation and presentation, controlled by the judge. The judge shall exercise reasonable control over the mode and order of interrogating witnesses and presenting evidence so as to do all of the following. A, make the interrogation and presentation effective for the ascertainment of the truth. B, avoid needless consumption of time. C, protect witnesses from harassment or undue embarrassment. And it goes on, but for purposes of what I'm going through, that's the most relevant portion of 906.11. So when I give you the warning that under 906.11, I will cut off your cross-examination, it's because you're violating 906.11. So
is that a judicial determination that I violated 906.11 when
I'm advising you, sir, it's not a specific determination as to anything that's happened thus far, just a summary of why I am relying upon 906.11 throughout the questioning of witnesses and the presentation of evidence.
Your Honor,
So with that, we're going to continue. I'm going to have the state be ready with their next witness.
Your Honor, I'm not interrupting you. I'm letting you make a clear record. And
Mr. Brooks, you have actually interrupted me.
I just let you go through the whole citing of 906.11 without saying anything.
I'm not asking for the parties to make an argument under 906.11.
So
I'm advising you. Stop interrupting me, please. I'm advising you, sir, so that you have hopefully more knowledge and awareness as it relates to the statute that I've cited dozens of times during this trial.
I'm well aware of what I'm citing, Your Honor. Well aware.
All right,
and I'm just seeking for the record to be clear. With all due respect, Your Honor, that's judicial misconduct because you're not allowing the jury who deserves to hear certain aspects of testimony. Like I stated yesterday, under the Sixth Amendment, I have the right to face my accuser, which means that I can question about clearly the plaintiff being the accuser. How come I can't question about if a witness may know or have had any prior interactions or any conversations or anything of the sort with the plaintiff who has yet to show their face? Also, the reason why I was objecting the way I was is because I was trying to get to the question of the witness saying that about the four ladies in her group that were not injured. There's relevancy because with her stating on the record, clearly for the record, and for Your Honor, and for the court and for the jury that these ladies were not injured in any way, but yet there's still charges associated with these ladies who were not injured. That should be dismissed.
We are not at that point, sir. The charges I refer you to the preliminary jury instructions for first-degree recklessly endangering safety and the elements they don't need to prove. There are certain elements. And so I'm not going to have a debate with you over the law at this point. I've made my rulings as it relates to certain questions that you have asked and whether they're relevant, whether they're vague, whether they call for speculation, or a whole host of reasons that a question can be objected to. I'm not further going to address your position on
May I request a
The-
legal
Let me
reconsideration of your
finish,
ruling,
sir.
Your
You
Honor?
interrupted me. I'm not done with what I was trying to say.
It was no way for
You-
me to know that because you paused. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Just because I paused doesn't mean I'm done.
But
So-
you paused for quite a while, so I wasn't sure.
In any event, sir, we're going to keep going. Any error you believe I've made, you can raise again on appeal if you are convicted, but we will proceed forward. Does the state have
I'm
the
not
next
trying to-
witness available? Please do not interrupt. I'm asking the
And
state
that's
a
why I
question.
that's why I was just
Mr.
quiet.
Brooks, you're interrupting. Stop. Does the state have
coming
available their next witness?
We do, but could we please request a comfort break, Your Honor? I'm sorry, but we haven't gone about 2 hours now.
All right, that's
as long
fine.
as
We'll
they're out.
take a 15-minute break. That's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For the record, Your Honor, we haven't addressed subject matter, jurisdiction.
We are off the record, Mr.